Hi everyone, welcome in our channel. Today we're going to talk about how to import in Turkey. Before we go ahead, remember to subscribe to our channel, leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed this video, because this is going to help us grow and share more information with you all. Moving forward with our topic, today we're going to talk about how to import in Turkey. So let's look at Turkey for 1 second as a country. It's quite a big country, there's quite a big demand, I would say, and it's always developing and is trying to, let's say, make it friendly also for businesses to trade with them. It's also a very rapidly growing economy, and at the same time, it's part of the customs union. Being part of a customs union means that it follows the European Union custom code pretty much and regulations. Of course, Turkey has its own standard as well. Let's say the general rules apply as per customs union regulations. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you're already shipping to the European Union or importing to the European Union, from the custom point of view and regulation, it's going to be quite similar. When you import to Turkey, you need to keep in mind that individuals cannot import for commercial purposes. You need to have a company, and eventually when a company imports, they need to let's say provide a declaration, let's say on the commercial invoice, their tax ID, and if it's for personal use by an individual, imported by an individual, then it needs to have the Turkish ID number. Overall, quite few products are subject to the Standard Institute of Turkey. Well, they do follow the custom regulations, right? But every country has still its own standards when it comes to labeling, when it comes to safety, and as we said, Turkey has the Standards Institute of Turkey regulation that you need to follow. But eventually, as we said, it's also part of the customs union, and they follow the rules of the CE mark, basically of the community European let's say rules and marks. That is basically the CE mark. So if you eventually already have that, you're pretty much safe, I would say. Of course, it depends on the product. You always need to look for a consultation before importing in Turkey or any other country. But let's talk about general rules. Turkey is part of the customs union, and it follows the same regulation standards as the CE mark. So as long as you have the CE mark on your product, you're pretty much good to go. But there are some products that require still an approval, because especially when it has the CE mark, it's shipped from Europe, but it's non-originating from Europe, so from the European Union. So let's say that you have a product originated from China, but you import it in a fulfillment center in Europe, and then eventually within European Union, and eventually from the European Union you ship it and import it into Turkey. Well, in this case, I would say it's coming from EU, but it's actually made in China, and it has the CE mark, but in that case, it's still going to be subject probably to some approvals and pre-permissions, especially when we talk about computers or anything that is, let's say, that has, I don't know, batteries, for example, or the Wi-Fi installed, like telecommunication stuff. So anything that can harm the safety of an individual, for example, of a country, then it's subject to pre-approval. It depends on the type of products, and that's where, let's say, the HS code come into picture, where you have to classify your goods. And in that case, Turkey has 12 digits HS code. Tariffs may vary, but they follow the customs union, right? So pretty much tariffs are, let's say, quite similar or the same as European Union. Eventually the VAT is at 18%, but when the goods are non-originating from, let's say, Europe, the European Union, but coming from other countries, and the values below 1,500, then it's where you have this application of 20% VAT. But if goods are coming from Europe, then the European Union, then you have 18%. Overall, general rule is 18% VAT. Now, overall, keep in mind there are some anti-dumping duties, so you may not only pay duties and the general tariff and the VAT, you may have some anti-dumping duties. It's the case when goods are coming from China, for example, and it's generally also applied to textiles. Basically, just be careful. Also cosmetics, medical devices, and anything that, let's say telecommunication equipment, it's also very strict, like the regulations are very strict. So I suggest you to consult either a lawyer or a broker, someone that can help you basically to ship there and comply with the regulation. It all goes down to compliance basically. Now if we look at the declaration on the value of your products, generally it's common rules basically. When you declare the value of your product, you're shipping for example via e-commerce to an individual, then you need to declare the transaction value, which means most likely how much your customer paid for your product. So it's the transaction value, the most important one. Eventually, if you don't have a transaction, you can use the transaction value of identical goods, and then eventually if you don't have identical goods, it's the transaction value of similar goods. So pretty much a standard and average of your industry. And the duties and taxes apply on the chief value, so it's the product value, let's say the transaction, how much your customer paid, plus any insurance you may have on the package, plus the freight, which means the shipping fee. You combine those values all together and you have a total declared value, which is made out of those three, and then you apply the duties on that amount. And then eventually, once you also have the duties, you combine them again. You combine product value, shipping, insurance, duty, and you apply the VAT on the total amount, including the duties. So this is how you should calculate it. But actually, there are some more regulation around that. The custom value, they generally, this is what they say, you should include the labor that you paid for pick and packing, packagings, and so on in the declared value. So not only the transaction value, you should actually include those additional prices or values. So it's not only the transaction value as itself, let's say, you also need to include, shipping, insurance, the eventual duties, and then all the other costs that you had, like packaging, pick and pack, and so on. For FTAs, for rules of origin and preferential duty rates, we have just two sections. It's either preferential duties rates or non-preferential duty rates. Generally, some countries have different sections. There's preferential, most favorable nation, or there's like non-preferential or general stuff, whatever. There may be subsections and different duties that may apply based on different situations. But for Turkey, it's pretty much either it's preferential duty rate or it's non-preferential duty rate. Then there's a new system that is in place, I think, since 2010, and it's basically an electronic system that checks all the parcels that are coming in to make, let's say, an assessment for the risk, a risk assessment on those goods based on the HS codes and everything. So it's like an electronic check to identify, potential problems or, any not safe situation. And I'm gonna read the name because I don't remember it. It's risk-based trade control system, TAREX, that basically is like a safety check of the products that come in every time in Turkey. So eventually, if you want to import stocks in Turkey and you want to, let's say, ship locally or ship from Turkey anywhere else, let's say in other countries, you can contact Oplog. It's a fulfillment center, let's say a 4PL in Turkey, and they can help you setting up. Eventually, you find in the description their link or contacts. You can check their website and let me know if you need any help setting up. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Remember to contact me if you need any help and to leave a like and a comment to this video if you enjoy it. See you in the next video.